Most men think women fall in love because of what you say, how you look, or how much you give. But the truth is, women fall in love for reasons far deeper than logic. There's a secret psychology at play, and once you understand it, everything changes. A woman doesn't fall in love because you check off all the boxes on her mental list. She doesn't fall for a man simply because he has the right job, the right height, or the right car. Those things may catch her attention, but they don't capture her heart. What captures her, what holds her, what awakens the deeper layers of her attraction, is how a man makes her asterisk feel asterisk. Women are emotionally driven, not logically convinced. This truth is what separates the men who try to impress from the men who effortlessly attract. Most men operate under the false belief that love is a negotiation. They show up with their credentials, their accomplishments, their good behavior, and they think, if I do enough, she'll choose me. But women aren't evaluating a resume. They're experiencing a asterisk presence asterisk. You see, a woman's attraction doesn't blossom through intellectual analysis. It flows through her body, her emotions, her intuition. Her subconscious is scanning your energy, your tone, your micro-reactions, and asking, asterisk, how do I feel around this man? Do I feel safe? Do I feel desired? Do I feel feminine, alive, free? Asterisk, that's why a man can be conventionally successful and still fail with women. You could be rich, handsome, and well-dressed, but if your presence is insecure, anxious, needy, or overly eager to please, she will feel it. And when she feels that, her feminine instinct recoils. She may not even know why, but her body does. Her energy withdraws because the emotional frequency isn't aligned with her core desire. And what is that core desire? It's to asterisk feel asterisk, to feel something asterisk real asterisk, to feel the calm dominance of a man who doesn't seek approval because he already approves of himself, to feel the mystery of a man who doesn't rush to explain himself, who's comfortable in silence, who speaks with intention instead of desperation. That's the difference. Words can be charming, but charm without grounded emotion is forgettable. Gifts can be impressive, but without emotional connection, they become empty. A man who understands this doesn't chase with logic. He connects through emotion. He doesn't try to convince a woman why she should love him. He lets her asterisk feel asterisk it through his energy. When you're grounded, calm, and unattached to the outcome, she senses that she's in the presence of someone asterisk different asterisk. Someone rare, someone safe, not because you coddle her, but because you don't need her validation to feel like a man. A woman's emotional body responds to authenticity, not performance. She will feel when you're trying too hard. She will sense when your compliments come from a place of wanting something in return. She will pick up on your insecurities even when you're masking them with bravado. But the man who doesn't perform, who doesn't sell, who simply asterisk is asterisk, he awakens something much deeper in her. It's not excitement based on novelty. It's not attraction based on superficial lust. It's a deeper emotional resonance. It's the feeling of, I don't know what it is about him, but I asterisk feel asterisk something when I'm around him. This is why silence, stillness, and composure are powerful, because they create space for her to asterisk feel asterisk. Most men fill that space with noise, trying to prove, to entertain, to convince. But when you leave space, when you are fully present, when you're comfortable in your own skin without needing her to complete you asterisk, that asterisk is when she leans in. Because her emotional mind senses that this man has nothing to hide, that this man is enough, with or without her. And that kind of man, rare as he is, becomes unforgettable in a world full of noise and emotional instability. So if you want to reach a woman's heart, don't argue with her mind. Don't try to win her with logic. Speak to her through your energy. Be the calm in her chaos. Be the grounding force in her emotional storm. Let her feel your strength, not through control or force, but through the quiet certainty of your being. And once she feels that, truly feels that, she will connect with you on a level far beyond the physical or intellectual. She'll begin to trust you with the parts of her no one else gets to see, not because you asked for it, but because you made her feel safe enough to give it. Most men make the mistake of thinking that giving a woman constant attention, reassurance, and validation will make her fall for them. They believe that by showing her how much they care, how available they are, and how attentive they can be, she'll naturally feel more drawn to them. But what they fail to understand is that constant validation, though comforting on the surface, eventually becomes predictable, and predictability kills desire. The psychology of female attraction doesn't respond to emotional security alone. It responds to polarity, tension, and the thrill of unpredictability. And here's the harsh truth. Validation, when given too freely, begins to lose its value. It no longer feels special. It no longer feels earned. It no longer feels real. This is where the paradox begins. The very thing men think will bring them closer, constant approval and affection, is often the thing that pushes her away emotionally. Women, especially feminine women, are not deeply attracted to what is easy, what is guaranteed, or what is constantly available. They are drawn to what feels slightly out of reach. They are drawn to men who have standards, who have boundaries, who have the courage to say no. Not because they enjoy being mistreated, but because the presence of those boundaries signals something deeper, strength, inner strength, and strength to a woman's subconscious equals safety and intrigue. A woman will test a man's boundaries not to break him, but to feel him, to feel the edges of his self-respect, to feel the integrity of his masculinity. If you fold every time she gets upset, if you shift your values to please her, if you seek her approval before making decisions, she may thank you in words, but her body and emotions will slowly disconnect. Because deep down, she doesn't want a man who submits to her emotions. She wants a man who can contain them, who can stand firm in the face of her storm, who can stay rooted in his own reality without collapsing into hers. That's what feels rare. That's what feels magnetic. Being a challenge does not mean being difficult. It does not mean playing games or manipulating. It means having your own sense of self that isn't dependent on her. It means being grounded in your truth, even if it means disappointing her. It means understanding that your attention is valuable and not every moment demands it. When a woman senses that your love, your time, and your validation must be earned, she respects it. And through that respect, her attraction deepens, because what is earned is always valued more than what is handed over freely. Women are biologically and psychologically wired to pursue what evokes emotion. And emotional engagement often comes from a space of curiosity and uncertainty. If she knows exactly where she stands all the time, if she knows you'll be there no matter how she treats you, if she knows you'll always say yes to everything she asks, there's no spark left to explore. You become emotionally safe, yes, but you also become emotionally dull, and dullness is the death of feminine desire. The irony is that many men give too much not because they are generous, but because they are afraid. Afraid of losing her, afraid of her pulling away, afraid of not being liked. But fear-based giving is transparent. She can feel it, and when she feels it, it creates pressure rather than connection. The energy becomes heavy. It feels needy. It feels like a transaction. She senses that you're trying to buy her affection with attention, and no woman wants to feel bought. She wants to feel chosen. A man who understands this doesn't chase. He invites, he doesn't flood her with compliments every hour of the day. He gives one when it's real and lets silence speak louder than flattery. He doesn't rearrange his whole life around her. He makes time for her without betraying his priorities. He doesn't fear her walking away because he knows that the right woman chooses to stay when she feels inspired, not controlled. That kind of man is a rare breed, and women sense it instantly. The psychology behind this is rooted in polarity. Feminine energy seeks to be pulled into a masculine current that feels strong, directed, and unwavering. When you are always bending to please, you dissolve that current. But when you maintain your form, your strength, and your path, even in the face of her emotional waves, she feels something deeper than approval. She feels trust. She feels your leadership, and in that feeling, she surrenders more of herself. The challenge is not about being distant or cold. It's about being centered, not needing her to fill a void, not giving away all your energy just to avoid discomfort. When you can stay calm in the face of her need for attention, when you can delay your response and not react impulsively, when you can smile and say no without fear, you create a sense of emotional space. And that space gives her room to feel her own longing to come toward you, to pursue you. Men often say, "But won't she leave if I don't give her everything she wants?" And the answer is, maybe. But if giving her everything means losing your core, losing your strength, and becoming her emotional servant, then she's not falling in love with you. She's falling for the version of you who abandoned himself to win her. And that version cannot be sustained. Sooner or later, resentment builds, attraction fades, and the connection dies. Instead, become the man who gives from strength, who loves without need, who validates when it's real, not when it's convenient, who isn't afraid of being a little unpredictable, a little unavailable, because his life is full of purpose. That kind of energy doesn't repel, it attracts. It pulls her into the unknown, into the dance of emotional tension, into a story worth feeling. Because deep down, she doesn't want it all handed to her. She wants to earn a place beside a man she respects, and respect begins where constant validation ends. When a woman tests you, it's not because she wants to argue or create unnecessary drama. It's because she wants to feel something very specific. She wants to feel your strength, not your physical strength, but your emotional and psychological strength. She wants to feel that you can handle her, not in a controlling or domineering way, but in a calm, grounded, unshakable way. At the core of feminine energy is the desire for safety. Not just physical safety, but emotional safety. And the only way she knows she can truly trust you with her softness, her vulnerability, and her chaotic emotions is if she tests your edges and finds that you don't break. These tests are not always obvious. Sometimes they come in the form of sarcasm. Sometimes they look like a sudden mood swing or an irrational complaint. Sometimes they're disguised as small provocations, arriving late, giving you the silent treatment, questioning your decisions, or subtly undermining your authority. And in these moments, most men fall into one of two traps. Either they react with anger, trying to reassert control through force, or they collapse, trying to please her, apologize unnecessarily, or avoid conflict. Both responses fail the test. The first signals insecurity masked as aggression. The second signals weakness masked as kindness. Neither one gives her the deep reassurance she's seeking. What she's really looking for is *centeredness*. Can you stay rooted when she storms? Can you hold your emotional ground without needing to overpower or escape? Can you remain calm, composed, and unaffected, not cold, but stable? If you can, she feels something powerful. She feels safe. Because you've shown that her emotional intensity cannot shake your foundation, that you don't lose your sense of self when faced with feminine unpredictability, that you can lead the emotional space between you without suppressing her or sacrificing yourself. Testing is not manipulation, at least not in the sinister way many men think. It's instinctual, it's subconscious. A woman often doesn't even know she's doing it. Her psyche is scanning for a man who can be the container to her emotional flow. The feminine is chaotic by nature, fluid, expressive, and ever-changing. The masculine, in its highest form, is still, grounded, and unwavering. This polarity is what creates attraction. This polarity is what creates emotional magnetism. When she tests you, she's saying, "Are you the man who can handle all of me? Not just the sweet, agreeable parts, but the wild, emotional, raw parts." Many men take these tests personally, not realizing they're actually opportunities. They're opportunities to demonstrate strength, not through dominance, but through detachment, not through indifference, but through emotional mastery. When you don't react, when you smile, stay relaxed, hold eye contact, and respond with clarity instead of defensiveness, she feels it in her body. It's not logical, it's visceral, it's primal, and in that moment her respect for you deepens, her attraction expands, her trust begins to grow. This is why emotional self-regulation is the foundation of masculine power. Because without it, every small disagreement becomes a war. Every shift in her mood becomes a threat. Every emotional wave pulls you out to sea, but with it, you become the anchor. You become the eye of the storm. And she can surrender to you, not because you control her, but because you don't need to control her. You control yourself, and that control is what she's really testing for. She doesn't want to dominate you. She wants to feel your dominance over your own emotions, your own impulses, your own mind. When you pass her tests, you're not earning a reward. You're proving your worthiness to lead in the relationship. Not as a dictator, but as a guide, as the stable force she can turn to when her own emotions feel overwhelming. And the more consistently you pass these tests, the more relaxed she becomes. She no longer needs to push, poke, or provoke, because she knows you're solid. She knows you won't abandon your principles for approval. She knows she can trust your direction. But when you fail the tests, when you lash out in anger, beg for her approval, or withdraw in silence, you lose that trust. You show her that you are reactive, unstable, or weak. You show her that your emotions own you, and once that perception is formed, it's difficult to reverse. She may stay for a while out of convenience, but the core of her feminine essence won't feel safe. And without that sense of safety, love cannot fully bloom, connection cannot deepen, passion cannot sustain. Understand that her testing isn't about perfection. She's not looking for a flawless man. She's looking for a real man, a man who can be firm without being rigid, kind without being soft, present without being needy. She's looking for proof, through your actions and energy, that you are exactly who you say you are, not just when things are calm, but especially when things are chaotic. That is the ultimate test. That is where true masculine presence is revealed. So instead of fearing the tests, embrace them. See them as the sacred trials they are, not as threats to your ego, but as invitations to rise into a stronger, more composed version of yourself. Because when you can meet a woman's test with stillness instead of reactivity, with grounded power instead of fear, you send a clear message: I am the storm's calm center. I do not flinch. I do not beg. I lead. And that message, without saying a word, awakens something ancient in her. Something deep, something real. Women are not just listening to what you say. They're constantly feeling who you are. They are tuned into your tone, your body language, the subtle shifts in your presence. A woman's intuition is incredibly sharp and often unconscious. She picks up on inconsistencies, on hesitation, on whether your energy matches your words. This is why authenticity is so powerful in a man. Because when your internal world matches your external behavior, when there is no disconnect between what you say and how you carry yourself, she feels safe. She feels that she's dealing with a man who is real, who is integrated, who isn't hiding behind a performance or trying to manipulate her perception. Inauthentic men are easy to spot for women, even if they can't articulate why. A man might say all the right things, but if he's secretly seeking approval, if he's trying to impress or win her over through flattery or exaggerated stories, she senses it. She may smile. She may respond politely. But underneath, her attraction doesn't grow. In fact, it often withers. Because deep down, what a woman truly craves is not a performance, it's presence. She wants to feel that she is in the company of a man who knows who he is, who stands on his truth, who doesn't need to be anything other than himself. Authenticity means you don't say things you don't mean just to gain favor. You don't pretend to like something you don't. You don't fake indifference when you care, and you don't fake care when you're indifferent. It means you're not trying to mold yourself into what you think she wants. You show up as you are with clarity, honesty, and self-respect. And that's the paradox. When you stop trying to be what you think will please her, and instead embody who you truly are, that's when she becomes drawn to you. Not because you're trying to win her, but because you've already won yourself. A woman's emotional intelligence is like radar. She can detect when you're withholding something, when you're unsure of yourself, when you're pretending to be confident, but inside you're nervous and insecure. It's not about hiding those feelings, it's about owning them. There's a big difference between a man who feels fear and tries to mask it, versus a man who feels fear and stands tall anyway. The first is acting. The second is real, and women feel that difference. Authenticity also means consistency. Your words match your actions. If you say you're going to do something, you do it. If you say you value something, you live by it. If you claim to be confident, you don't shrink in the face of confrontation or discomfort. When a woman sees this alignment between your values and your behavior, her trust in you grows. And trust is the foundation of emotional intimacy. Without it, no real connection can take root. On the other hand, when you're inconsistent, when you say one thing but do another, when your confidence is only skin deep, when your masculinity is performative rather than embodied, she can't relax around you. She's constantly trying to figure out what's real and what's not. And that emotional uncertainty creates tension, not the kind that builds attraction, but the kind that creates emotional fatigue. Eventually, she pulls away, not necessarily because she wants to, but because her intuition tells her that something isn't right. Authenticity requires courage. It requires the willingness to be seen, not just in your strengths, but in your imperfections. It means being vulnerable enough to admit when you're unsure, strong enough to stand by your decisions, and humble enough to grow. It's not about being perfect. In fact, perfection is often a turn-off because it doesn't feel human. What draws a woman in is realness, raw, unfiltered, grounded presence, the kind of presence that says, "This is who I am, take it or leave it," not out of arrogance, but out of self-possession. When you are authentic, you stop chasing. You stop trying to convince. You stop needing to be accepted, because you realize that what's truly attractive is a man who is deeply at peace with himself, a man who doesn't adapt his values based on the woman in front of him, a man who doesn't need validation to feel worthy. That kind of man becomes magnetic, not to every woman, but to the right woman, and that's what matters. A woman wants to feel that the man she's with is not wearing a mask, that he's not changing shape depending on the environment. She wants to know that when she looks at you, she's seeing the real you. That the man she's connecting with in private is the same man she sees in public. That your masculinity isn't an act you turn on to impress her, but a natural expression of your identity. When she feels that consistency, that stability, that deep-rooted sense of who you are, she can begin to open up emotionally. She can begin to feel safe being her full self, too. That's the hidden power of authenticity. It not only attracts her, it liberates her. It gives her permission to drop her own guard, to stop performing, to stop pretending, and when two people can meet from that space, raw, honest, unfiltered, a true connection can form, not one built on roles or games, but on mutual recognition of something rare and real. And in today's world, where so many relationships are built on illusions and expectations, real is revolutionary. A woman falls in love through the gradual build-up of emotional connection. This process isn't sudden. It isn't based on one magical moment or a single grand gesture. It's a layering, subtle, emotional, experiential. It happens over time through the repeated experience of feeling seen, understood, and emotionally attuned to. A woman bonds through the small, consistent signals that tell her you're not only present, but tuned in not just to her words, but to the emotions underneath them. She watches how you respond to her vulnerability. She notices if you really listen or if you're just waiting for your turn to speak. She observes whether you are emotionally intelligent enough to read the unsaid, the subtle shifts in her mood, the changes in her tone, the meaning behind her silence. What many men don't understand is that emotional connection is not something you force. It's something you build. It's not about pouring your heart out too early or trying to create intense moments. In fact, doing too much too soon often comes across as desperation, and that sabotages trust. Emotional connection for a woman is about safety, safety to be herself, safety to express her emotions without being judged, safety to feel that her words matter, and most importantly, safety to open her heart without fearing it will be mishandled. This is why consistency matters so much. If you're hot one day and cold the next, if you're emotionally available in one conversation but then distant and distracted in the next, she can't relax. She stays on guard. Her heart stays closed. Because women are not wired to trust what you say nearly as much as they trust what you do. They don't just track your words, they track your patterns, And when your emotional presence becomes a pattern, when you show up again and again with grounded attention, with care that isn't performative, with presence that isn't seeking a reward, then something begins to happen. Her defenses start to melt. She starts to feel like she doesn't need to perform. She starts to feel asterisk seen asterisk, and being truly seen is what allows a woman to fall in love. Emotional connection is built in the moments between the big moments. It's built in how you respond when she's having a hard day, when she's moody, when she's quiet, when she shares something small and you don't brush it off, but actually lean in. It's in how you make her feel when you're doing absolutely nothing together, whether you're scrolling through your phones side by side or sitting silently in the car. Emotional connection is not a performance, it's a presence. A way of asterisk being asterisk. Many men think that building connection means constantly entertaining her or giving compliments or being the one who always has something clever to say. But that's not what forms emotional intimacy. What forms intimacy is your ability to asterisk hold space asterisk, to allow her to express herself without trying to fix her, without trying to change the subject, without deflecting with humor or checking out. When she cries, can you stay? When she's angry, can you hear her without becoming defensive? When she's insecure, can you reassure her without belittling her feelings? These are the things that create deep emotional resonance in a woman's heart. And here's the truth, the emotional connection is what determines whether or not she stays. Physical attraction might open the door, chemistry might ignite the flame, but if there's no emotional substance, it fades. Because a woman doesn't want to asterisk, just asterisk be desired. She wants to be asterisk felt asterisk, to be asterisk known asterisk, to be asterisk understood asterisk on a level deeper than her body or her looks. And when a man can create that kind of space, where she doesn't feel like she has to filter herself or hide parts of who she is, something profound happens. She attaches, emotionally, psychologically, spiritually. She begins to asterisk belong asterisk to you not because you claimed her, but because you earned her trust. It's also important to understand that emotional connection isn't just about emotional asterisk talk asterisk. It's not about endless conversations about feelings. In fact, sometimes the most powerful emotional bonds are built through shared experiences. Spending time together doing things that make you both feel alive, navigating challenges as a team, laughing at the same silly things, building rituals together that become sacred in their repetition. It's in how you protect her peace, how you show up when she needs someone, how you respect her when she's not around to see it. It's in how you handle conflict, not by avoiding it, but by navigating it with calmness and clarity. If a woman feels emotionally alone while being physically close to you, she disconnects. Her body might be present, but her heart starts to retreat. That's why emotional neglect, being present in form but absent in spirit, is so destructive. A man can be physically loyal and still make a woman feel completely emotionally abandoned. And emotional abandonment is one of the deepest wounds a woman can feel in a relationship. It tells her that her heart is not safe here, that she must protect herself, that she cannot fully surrender. And once that withdrawal begins, it's very hard to reverse unless the man becomes radically present again. So building emotional connection is not about being perfect. It's about being asterisk attuned asterisk, about choosing her daily, not just with words, but with attention, with presence, with responsiveness. It's about letting her feel that she matters, not just when you want something from her, but even when there's nothing at stake. That kind of emotional depth is rare, and it's what separates a fleeting romance from a lasting bond. A woman's heart opens slowly, but once it does, once she feels that she can rest emotionally in your presence, that is when love truly begins to grow, not as a feeling, but as a state of being. One of the most overlooked aspects of the psychology of women, and of love itself, is the way a woman responds to a man's sense of purpose, not just ambition, not just goals, but the deep, unwavering presence of a mission that defines him. A man with purpose radiates something that is intangible yet deeply felt. It's not about what job he has or how much money he makes. It's about the fire within him, his direction, his center, his reason for being that extends far beyond women, validation, or attention. And when a woman senses this, something shifts inside her. She feels the gravitational pull of a man who doesn't orbit around her, but is instead moving forward with clarity, conviction, and drive. This is one of the deepest psychological triggers for feminine attraction, not because a woman wants to be ignored, but because she wants to feel that she is entering the life of a man who already has structure, who already has meaning, who has momentum. A man who wakes up not just to exist or to impress others, but to build to create to evolve. That sense of movement is irresistible because it signals that he cannot be owned, he cannot be manipulated, and he cannot be tamed. Not in a reckless way, but in a grounded, disciplined way. A man with purpose doesn't lose himself in women. He doesn't trade his mission for attention. He integrates love into his life without compromising his essence. That is power, and women feel it on a level they often can't explain. When a man lacks purpose, he becomes emotionally unstable. He overinvests in the woman too early. He makes her the center of his emotional world. He becomes reactive, needy, easily discouraged. His self-worth rises and falls based on her responses. If she texts back, he's relieved. If she's distant, he's anxious. His moods depend on her attention, and his confidence becomes fragile. This emotional volatility drains her. It creates pressure. It makes her feel like she's carrying not just herself in the relationship, but him as well, and over time, this dynamic kills attraction, because no woman wants to mother the man she desires. She wants to feel that the man she's with can lead, not just her, but himself. A man on a mission doesn't abandon himself. He doesn't get lost in the highs and lows of romance because he's tethered to something greater. And ironically, that's what makes him magnetic. He doesn't try to impress her with words. His actions speak for him. His time is valuable, not because he pretends to be busy, but because he's actually doing something. He's building, learning, growing. His energy is not desperate, it's focused, and that focused energy communicates so much. It says, I want you, but I don't need you to complete me. It says, you're welcome in my life, but I won't abandon my path to keep you. That balance of desire and detachment is rare, and it's what creates deep respect. Women are not drawn to men who are simply successful. They're drawn to men who are centered men who are internally anchored, who don't chase every impulse, who don't collapse when faced with challenge. Purpose provides that anchor. When a man has purpose, setbacks don't define him. He adapts, he recalibrates, he keeps moving. And when a woman sees that kind of resilience, she feels safe in his presence, not because he controls her or the world, but because he controls himself. That emotional and directional stability is what makes her want to surrender, not in submission, but in trust. She can let go because she knows he won't. Purpose also protects the relationship from becoming stagnant. Many relationships lose their spark, not because of external problems, but because the man stops growing. He becomes complacent, predictable, passive. He turns inward, not in reflection, but in withdrawal. He loses his edge, and when that happens, the energy that once drew her in the fire, the mystery, the intensity, dims. But when a man stays on his edge, when he continues to evolve, to push boundaries, to aim higher not for ego, but from an inner calling, the relationship stays alive. Because the woman doesn't just fall in love with who he was *, she keeps falling in love with who he's * becoming *. This doesn't mean neglecting the relationship or being emotionally unavailable. It means being so deeply aligned with your inner compass that love becomes an extension of your purpose, not a distraction from it. It means having the courage to walk your path even when it's misunderstood. It means not softening your edge to be more digestible. A man with purpose can love deeply without losing himself. He can give without emptying. He can commit without being caged. And that paradox of presence and distance, of closeness and independence, is what keeps a woman's soul awake in the relationship. It also means he doesn't crumble when she tests him. Because make no mistake, women * will * test you. Consciously or not, they test to see if you are who you say you are, if your confidence is real, if your strength is solid, if your path is yours, or if it shifts based on their mood. And when she sees that your direction doesn't change, that your core remains steady even when she storms emotionally, a deep layer of trust and attraction is activated. She sees not just a man, but a * pillar *. Someone she can lean on, someone she can believe in. Purpose is not a slogan. It's not something you write in your journal once and forget. It's a lived experience. It's a daily discipline. It's the result of deep self-awareness and even deeper commitment. And it doesn't always look glamorous. Sometimes it's quiet, sometimes it's lonely, but it is always * yours *. And when a man leaves from that place, he becomes undeniable, not because of what he achieves, but because of what he embodies. And in that embodiment, love finds its highest form, not as dependency, not as fantasy, but as a union between two whole beings walking their paths, side by side, with fire in their eyes and purpose in their stride. In the end, the secret psychology of women and love isn't about playing games or memorizing tactics. It's about understanding depth. It's about recognizing that true connection with a woman isn't earned through surface-level charm, but through substance, presence, and purpose. When a man embodies emotional strength, maturity, and direction, he doesn't chase love. He attracts it, and the woman who aligns with that energy won't just admire him, she'll respect him, trust him, and stand beside him, not because she needs him, but because she chooses him. That's the kind of love that endures, not fleeting infatuation, but a deep, grounded, soulful connection. The kind of love that doesn't just feel good, it transforms you.